بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. احنا النهاردة هنتكلم عن موضوع مهم يشكل تقريبا اكتر من 50 او 60% من حجم الليتشر الموجود في clinical science. This is the screening test and diagnostic test evaluation. Screening test is a diagnostic test but used for screening purposes, so it must be very cheap, affordable, simple, socially accepted, and on point done. The reading to be give to the patient at the time of doing it or in a very near time. Okay, this is the characteristic of the screening test, which is a simple diagnostic test. To do a diagnostic study, either screening or any diagnostic study, it must assemble an appropriate spectrum of patients. We must have mild, moderate, severe cases, and the test must be applied to all spectrum of the disease. It must be applied for all patients where the reference and diagnostic tests are applied. It's a very important point because we can't do a diagnostic study on group of patients and control other group of patients. The diagnostic test and the reference, the screening test and the reference, whatever the type of the study, on the same patients. The most important also is to be done and interpreted blind to each other. This is blindness is the core of success of the study, i.e. the reader and interpreter of one test, the reference test for example, is one different from who read the diagnostic test. It must be repeats itself in independent set of patients to be a reliable or reproducible test. Very important. This is to do a valid diagnostic study or valid screening study. The factors affecting diagnostic performance, we called it before as the lecture of measurement, precision, accuracy, and validity, but I can repeat some important points here. The factors may be related to the patient, okay, as the patient fasting time from doing the test, the patient position, if the test can be varied by the position of the patient, either sitting, lying, or upright. What is related to the test? The test may be different variable test as the lots. We do the batch number. We examine for the company producing the test. It may differ from test to test, from test to test. To relate it to the observer, it might be between the same observer or between different observers for the same test. Variability of the test may be due to an instrumental variation, automatic or manual, may be the intra-instrumental or inter-instrumental, between different instruments if they are differently produced by different companies or something else. The observer, very important, because we need to standardize our way for training and for instruction to the observer. The variability of the test will result in error. They are bias or systematic deviation, or random error. It is a random deviation. Random deviation, which can be seen if one reading of the aliquot of this is different from the normal. Okay, it is called in our statistic terms, it is outlier, either by increase or decrease. Systematic deviation is always all the run at a lab, all the blood pressure of the patients measured in one day are elevated or decrease over their expected number. How to avoid this error? Accuracy avoids the bias, and precision avoids the random error. If we testing a new test, whether it is a diagnostic or screening test, we must have some questions to be answered. Can the new test detect the disease in patients who have the disease? Can the new test exclude the disease in individuals without the disease? To answer the first question, the new test must be tested on a group of patients having the disease, which is called the study group. It is the sensitivity. The product will be the sensitivity or the positivity in presence of disease. To answer the second question, the new test must be tested on a group of individuals not having the disease. This is called control group. Specificity is defined as negativity in health. The test is negative and the disease is not present. This is very important terms or definitions. In sensitivity and specificity evaluation, the starting point is that the researcher already knows the presence or absence of the disease but doesn't know the results of the test. The new test, I mean. Okay, the presence or absence by the reference test. So sensitivity and specificity describe the post-test probability. Positive and negative predictive values matching with specificity and sensitivity respectively. If we have high sensitivity, the negative predictive value is high. If we have high specificity, the positive predictive value is high. So if we find something different from that, it may be there is a mistake in calculation. Here is the most important part of this lecture, how to calculate diagnostic accuracy measures. We have sensitivity, specificity, predictive value of positive test, predictive value of negative test, and efficiency, or some references called it accuracy of the test. How to calculate? First, we must construct a table and draw the blue table by the same consequence I will mention. We do 2 by 2 table and total on the right of the cells and total on the blue cells in the blue row. Okay, in the right column we have a total, and in the lower row we have a total also. On the first left column we have what is called index test, or the new test, or the screen test. Okay, and on the row we have gold standard or disease. We start always by positive in the first left column because we begin the table from the left. So we have positive. في another the other column is negative. Under index test also positive or negative. We have an example. If we have 100 screen subjects by both gold standard and the index test, we first put this 100 in the cell which is called the grand total. The grand total means that all the total screened we put in its in this cell in the lower left cell of the table. This is the first thing we do. Then if we have these are hypothetical numbers, out of these 180 are positive by gold standard. Then we put the 80 as the cell of the total of gold standard. We work on the totals. Okay, so 80 will be put on the total of gold standard. Here we don't have differential numbers in the 2 by 2 table. We have only the table till this moment. So we can put the missing number, which is 20, under the total of negative by subtraction of 80 from 100. Okay. Positive by both tests is 50. You can then complete the table. We can complete the table. Okay, we put 50 on the cell of being both positive, or we call it the true positive rate. We call it the true positive rate. We call it the true positive rate. Okay, the true positive rate is 15. 50 patients is 50 patients. This is the positive by both tests. Then we can empty the 3 cells. We can empty the 3 cells which constitute the 2 by 2 table. We can put 30 below 50 on the column of positive for gold standard to make a total of 80. 50 plus 30 to make a total of 80. And we can put 10 to complete the total of 60. 10 plus 50, and then we can put 10 negative by both tests to complete 40 and complete the all cells of this table. Here we finished the 2 by 2 tables. How to calculate the accuracy parameters, which is the sensitivity first one. Sensitivity is the ability of the test to detect positive cases in those who are diseased. Specificity is the ability of the test to exclude by the non-diseased one who are negative for the disease. Okay, so the two are important, of the same importance. Here the sensitivity here in this example is 50 over 80. We get the percent, which is 62.5%. Specificity is negative by both tests. Over negative by the gold standard, which is 10 by 2, which is 50%. Then predictive value of the positive test is positive by both tests over the positive by index test, which is 50 over 60. This ratio is obtained, and the predictive value of negative test is negative by both tests over the negative by index test, which is 25%. As we see, the predictive value of positive test is matching with specificity, and the predictive value of negative test is matching the sensitivity. The efficiency of the test is the positive by both tests plus negative by both tests as number of patients over the grand total. Here in our example, it is 50 plus 10 over 100, which is the total number of patients, and it gets calculated as 60%. So efficiency of the test is a measure that includes both sensitivity and specificity together. If we can judge on these tests other new diagnostic test or screening test. We reached to the end of the lecture. I suggest for you to make many calculations as you can do to get the point in your minds, and very simple and very easy, and it can't include any technical terms or statistical terms, because it's very difficult in any reference to have the terms that is the true positivity, the positivity, it is very difficult to obtain, but this way of calculation can get you on the way how to understand these accuracy measures. Thank you for your attention, and إن شاء الله المحاضرة القادمة بإذن الله. شكرا. هنقول فيها إن شاء الله area under the curve, how it is calculated on SPSS. Thank you very much.